Hello, guys.
Hello?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, good.
I can hear you.
We've got a few more that we might wait for. We'll get started maybe here in a few minutes. It'll be short and sweet today. We're basically just going to cover the syllabus, answer questions you might have, kind of go over the class portal, and then kind of go over just some of the class maintenance type of things. So we'll give those other two maybe a few minutes, and then if they don't show up here soon, we'll go ahead and get started. I will share my screen probably most of this session so that I can kind of follow along on the screen with what I'm talking about. So let's do that. There we go. Okay, well, let's go ahead and I haven't received any emails from the others. We'll go ahead and get started, and then if they pop in, I'll catch them up later. First, I'll introduce myself. My name is Rich White. I teach this class during the summer. My job is as a programmer and technology instructor at the Greenbush Education Service Center. Most of my students are middle school students, and I know, Allison, you're also a teacher at Piper, is that right? Okay. And Mark, are you also a teacher?
I was a teacher for 10 years or so, and then I'm a stay-at-home dad actually right now.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you
But
got
I've been working on my master's here for a couple years, and I'm almost done.
okay. So you get the hard job.
Yeah, especially
Chasing
this
the
time of
kids.
year.
I know it gets crazy, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do, I'm more of kind of a big believer into the asynchronous, self-paced kind of stuff. So usually the live sessions don't last long. If you Guys, at any time though, if you're kind of the learner that you feel like that's what you're most comfortable with, don't hesitate, because I can do, you know, live sessions one-on-one or in groups as long as you guys want to. Um, you've probably looked at the syllabus. I know Allison had the question of if there was a textbook, and really the closest thing to a textbook that we will have will be two Creative Commons open source ebooks that I'll show you here in a second. First, I'll just kind of go through the syllabus. I'm sure you both have read it, but just to clear anything, maybe confusion or any questions you might have. And if you do have a question, just stop me and I can kind of clarify things. This class will pretty much all take place here at this the Greenbush Labs game class. I noticed most of you have been able to log in, so a lot of the discussions will happen there. I'll go over kind of some of the kind of where our weekly resources and activities piece will kind of show up, so that you'll know where those are. Kind of all the nitty-gritty stuff. We'll have not very many live video conferences, but we will have 8, so that each person will have a chance to discuss their written piece. Now, in the past, these 2 written pieces were lessons, and I know you guys, you know, if you feel more comfortable doing it in a lesson format. I've noticed kind of in the past, though, that there weren't all the students weren't teachers, so you know the lesson thing kind of caught them up, and so we started going with just the report format. So whichever you feel comfortable with. If you have a resource and you're like, wow, this would make I could fit this into a lesson really nicely, definitely feel free to use the lesson format also with with our written report pieces.
I have
and we'll have a couple.
Quick question.
Oh, okay. Okay.
With all of the assignments, are you gonna like email out due dates or put them on the portal, or how are we gonna know, like, you know, what you want us to get done weekly?
I actually will. If you look at also at the, I mean, there'll be a lot of things that aren't necessarily assignments. There'll be more discussion type of activities. But if we look at the game portal, and I'll kind of, or the class portal, I'll switch over to that. You'll notice on the spreadsheet that I had, there'll be lists, so there'll kind of be the discussions and the discussions. So from the 3rd, we'll kind of run from the 3rd to the 8th, and the 8th to the 10th, and so it'll kind of by the time the 8th start, we'll have a new kind of thread, and we'll be working from that. The class discussions after, or the live discussions rather, after the second one, a large part of that will be dedicated to each of you guys' reports and or lessons. And then down here it shows kind of the dates for those, kind of by the 11th for the first one and by the 25th for the second one. So it's going to kind of be a little more, I guess, free-flowing. There aren't really tests. The big things are just going to be kind of active participation through the discussions and then the report pieces. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, and when we pick topics, is that totally, I mean, up to us, or?
Yeah, what I would kind of like is we'll have weekly resources, and then I'll have, let me kind of go back to my portal here. So we'll have a growing list of resources, and you'll see those kind of on the right side right here. The 2 ebooks I was talking about as Moving Learning Forward and the Game-Based Learning. So kind of the structure will be, and we'll get into this kind of through as we do our online forum and discussions, but we'll be, hopefully we can use that as a scaffolding or as a framework for the resources that we do pick.
Okay.
And these ebooks have a lot of resources, and then we'll also have a lot here. as we go. But if you have ideas kind of going into it, as we get into the forums, kind of flush it out there and see what others are thinking and kind of what their feedback might be and so forth. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
In the end, what I'm kind of hoping is that we all have these resources, these, each other's resources to go back to as we need them. So that is back on the syllabus now. Here, I'm kind of jumping back and forth because they're kind of closely related. But that, I hope, answers a little bit of that. A little bit more about the course description. Have both of you had a chance to kind of go through the syllabus and flush out anything ahead of time that seems confusing?
I just glanced over it, but I'm kind of already, you answered my questions so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm good. Were we supposed to be able to write into that text into the Excel program or spreadsheet?
Yeah, did I not share it so that you could?
I couldn't type anything in it. I tried a couple times.
Well, I will make sure that you guys have the authentication to do that, because what I'm hoping is that we kind of here have I would like for us to get comfortable enough that we each kind of also lead or co-lead a forum discussion. So, and the types of things, most of it will kind of be obvious because I'll, as the course goes, have reflections on the 2 ebooks. But also, as you guys start to kind of think about your report or about your pieces that you're gonna share out with the group, the little 2-page, I hate calling them reports, but in the past I've called them lessons because hopefully they're structured in a way that someone could look at them and say, this is how I would leverage this in a classroom. But so I'll fix that so that we can start to come up with dates that each of us can start to kind of lead portions of. And I'll do that tonight. That way I won't.
Okay, quick question.
Okay.
I'm looking at your Excel spreadsheet, and the online discussions, those are just us, as a group attending and talking and collaborating, right?
Yeah, it really will be. What I'm kind of hoping too is there'll be sessions where or pieces where we'll create YouTube videos. I really like that format because it's kind of easy to describe a lot of your ideas. The text just doesn't quite get across, and I like to, if you've noticed kind of the introductory YouTube video where I can kind of do a screencast of what I'm talking about, so it makes a little bit more sense, and then it gives you guys the opportunity to kind of look at it and see what I'm talking about, and then come back with questions where I may be not quite covering or discussing everything that seems important.
Okay, and the reports, I know it says prior to like July 11th and prior to July 5th. Do we just pick any day in July, or does it have to be one of the dates that's on your sheet?
It actually does not have to be one of the dates. So pretty much any day that and that day is going to be a piece where you'll be able to come in live, and people will hopefully have questions. You'll be able to kind of present your idea. People will have questions or comments and maybe flush it out a little bit more. It might be useful, though, to do your online piece before you're actually going to, submit the report to the group through a discussion, so that you can kind of do some Q&A and flush some things out. But really, it's kind of up to your discretion on how you want to do it.
Okay.
So I'll kind of jump back over to I want to make sure, at least though we see the dates, we kind of know a lot of this is going to be through a thread. Now, also notice, as this thing grows right now, I'm going to kind of jump right back over to our little piece. I've got the activities tab, so I've got this home tab, this activities tab, and then the members will see everybody. And this will kind of grow. I'll have the current week on top, And right here, kind of the big task I wanted us to be able to do is kind of this introductions piece where we leveraged YouTube to kind of introduce ourselves. And really what I want us to be able to do is, one, if we have questions about doing that. Have you guys ever done that before, where you've done like a little screencast of a YouTube and shared it out?
I've done some screencasts with, is it Jing? And then
Oh,
I
okay,
had to
yeah.
do it, but that doesn't go to YouTube. So I guess it's a different file that the YouTube doesn't recognize. So I'm using a different one now, Camtasia. I'm
Oh,
using
okay, okay.
their, I'm
Yeah.
using their, they have a free trial. I didn't know if there's one you recommend or that you use. Seems like there's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah, I used, it's called ICU, but I have a Mac too, so.
Yeah, and that's what I have.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that'll
So
work perfect. I think there's
write
actually
it.
a way to do it directly from YouTube also. I
Is
always just,
Do you just do a screencast right from YouTube?
I think you can. I've always used the ICU and then uploaded it, but I think
Yeah,
you can go to YouTube and start one.
okay, so I see you.
I just used iMovie and uploaded it to YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah.
iMovie works, and so does QuickTime too. If you
Mm-hmm.
have, you can do a
Okay.
screencast through QuickTime, which is
Okay.
free. Hope I'm not jumping around too much from tabs and making this confusing. So that's kind of how this will work. I'll also have the resources that I'll kind of lay over into our little forum pieces. This Educate, the Minecraft, and then the Getting Started with Minecraft EDU. I wanted to make sure that you've seen those before I started talking about them a lot in the forums. So, on a side note, this Educate is a really cool resource. I would be tempted to advise to jump in there even tonight after this class and check it out. If you haven't heard of it, it's a really cool resource. But that's me kind of going off on a tangent. So I'll come back to the syllabus here. I wanted to make sure that we had the dates, so we kind of see the dates. We are comfortable with those. We see the two kind of written projects for the class.
Will all the sessions be at 6:30? The live
Yeah,
online
all the
discussions?
live sessions will. One thing I want to make sure though is that we're comfortable with YouTube, because I know how technology can be, and I have literally been like 5 minutes before class start, a thunderstorm rolls in and the power goes out, and
Mm-hmm.
with everyone in a different place, it's one person's down, but everyone else, they're like, and they're supposed to lead the session, or if it's the teacher, they're just not there. So this asynchronous piece, I think, is going to come to the rescue several times. This is a really small class, so maybe not as when you have a bigger class, there's always something that's acting weird. But so hopefully with this YouTube, this asynchronous piece, we can kind of, if that something weird happens, we can just kind of jump right into their piece if they're supposed to present. Say you're supposed to present later in July and a thunderstorm rolls through and knocks everything out. We can just bring that up. I can show it live, or I can show it to everybody through this Google Hangout. So.
And then on those the online discussion time, is that just kind of around that time, or is it sorry, you probably hear dogs barking, or is it exactly that time when it during the day? That is there a specific time we're getting together, or is it just throughout the day?
It's actually will be throughout the few days. What I'll do though,
okay.
I will send out an email when there's a new forum post, because there's a lot of times there'll be throughout this. It's amazing, throughout this month there'll be like a big thing pop up in that I've read somewhere, and I want to share it. I want to make sure everyone kind of sees it, and so there'll be kind of forums that aren't necessarily on the list that I want to make forum posts that I want to make sure everyone is aware of and can see and reflect on. So I'll kind of you also will get notices once you have the account, there's your account, and you guys have both logged in. When people post, you'll get, and there's a setting in your account, if you've noticed in your profile, that you can get notices when people post or respond to either one of your posts or to someone else's. And if it doesn't act right, or if you're still confused, don't hesitate to drop me a message, and I can kind of, for example, like this spreadsheet where you guys couldn't edit it, I can go in there and make some adjustments. Yeah, I understand the dog thing. I've had kids run in screaming and yelling before.
No, I will always have kids running around.
So I'm sure you'll see little ones behind me from time to time. Okay, so that's that piece. That kind of covers all of the big things in the syllabus that I wanted to discuss. The portal, I wanted to make sure kind of the big ones were that you're aware of is the Activities tab, which is right here, and this will grow throughout the month. I'll have the latest week on top, so next week it'll be week 2. I'll also have we'll have another forum discussion, and I'll have that here as the week goes and as our resource list grows. The class reading, I've got other resources. You notice here in the class resources, this other resources, that'll grow too. I've taken some stuff out and added some stuff just in the past couple of weeks, but these are kind of the main ones that I really want us to have a chance to look at before this thing gets really long and hard to look at. But I also want to direct our attention to these. These are the 2 PDFs I was mentioning that will kind of lay the foundation for a lot of the discussions. I will later today, or actually, what's my thing say? Before the 8th, it'll probably be this weekend, I bet. There's a video I really like to lead off with, and it's a Jane McGonigal thing, and I'll share that on the forum here in a few days, so y'all have a chance to look at that. And I'll do several screencasts on the on these class reading resources. These 2 kind of, they're not textbooks. They're kind of written in like white papers in a way, but they're really good, and I love kind of how they lay the kind of the groundwork for the gaming and simulations and education piece. So I think I'm kind of sitting here looking at things I wanted to discuss, and I think I covered everything. I hope I didn't make the syllabus sound confusing. The portal right now isn't too confusing. As the resource list grows and things start going on, it'll grow kind of organically, I hope, between all of us. But I think that's kind of the big things I wanted to cover. Was there anything you guys wanted discussed through this live session that maybe I didn't?
Are the those resources, are those things we should be looking at as soon as they get up and just kind of reviewing them?
I actually would.
Keeping up to date with them?
Yeah, I would. As you see them and as they're updated, I will make references to them through the forums, so you'll kind of get notices. But I would, because if we're not, and we start kind of rolling through these discussions, for example, last year it started off, and I don't know, have either of you read Ready Player One?
No.
It's a book kind of about, it's a gaming book, and it's a really interesting book, but it wasn't anything I had as a resource or on the resource list. But one of the students was reading it and was really kind of captivated by it, and that kind of, they started a forum post, and it just went crazy, and it kind of got the whole class interested in it. So the thing, I hope, will start to kind of grow organically like that. But it will be beneficial to kind of start to kind of keep up with the activities page, and notice as those activities start to grow and the resources start to grow. I think they'll provide a lot of insight into the projects, into our written kind of shared things for the class.
Now those 2 ebooks. I mean, will there be more books added on, or are those the 2 books and just kind of read them?
There actually won't be any more books added on. Those are going to kind of be the 2 big ones. The rest of the things are going to be more resources and videos. Okay. So kind of, here's a game. Here's, I mean, you can see on the right-hand side kind of my favorite resources. The Scratch, and I'll have a piece where we'll go through Scratch. I think it's a really nice resource for teachers. There's the Minecraft, which is kind of fun. The Educate I mentioned, and it's over here for our weekly resource. Also, Minecraft is too, and the Minecraft EDUs. So that'll kind of be beneficial. I'll eventually also we'll get into badges and so forth. So badges and levels and so forth. So those ebooks will kind of lay the groundwork for kind of those discussions too.
And I know you guys already talked about this, but I just want to double check. So each week on Tuesday, we're going to have our online meetings at 6:30.
Yeah.
Okay, and are you going to send out a link every one of those times too, or do we just get on the?
I actually will. It'll kind of be like today. I'll send out through email the URL, and then there'll be an events page.
Okay.
So what's nice is with the Google Hangout, and I don't know if you guys have the app, but there's an app for your iPhone and for your Android device, your iPad, and so forth. So if you happen to be, kind of mobile, you're maybe at an airport, you have to connect, you want to connect for that 6:30 session, you can do it that way too.
All right, so I have one more question. Sorry, the live chats. Is that what we're doing now, or is it the online discussion? Like, which ones are we getting together for? Because she said, I thought they were Monday, Wednesday. Looked like they were kind of throughout. There's a Monday and Wednesday. Is that
These live sessions will be so today's, and then the next one will be the 7th, and then the 9th.
So those are Monday, Wednesdays, I believe.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because it started off. Yeah, I think it is because this one started off. I'd have to bring up my calendar to look at the exact days. I know there was a rhyme or reason to it, and I remember thinking, well, the July 1st is a Tuesday, and it kind of skewed the first one a little bit. But
right.
To be honest, I'm not a real big live session, set and talk. Just because I don't learn well that way. I am more of a kind of get the resources, internalize it, kind of hash it out. But I know others aren't. So the live sessions, I hope, will be more directed kind of like by you guys. So now where you're asking questions and you're kind of reflecting on, or eventually we're reflecting on resources and talking about our papers and so forth, or our projects. So that's kind of going to be the structure of the live sessions.
Okay.
Most of what we do will probably happen asynchronously, and then the live sessions will really just be touching base and going over some of the things that were on the discussion, clarifying kind of questions that we may have had and so forth. So does that kind of make sense?
Yep.
Well, so we've got, and if you end up having questions as you're trying to kind of do the YouTube introduction piece, I think, don't hesitate. I can do a video kind of walkthrough tutorial of that. I think it's going to be beneficial, though, to do that as the very first thing because we'll be doing it a lot. I have a feeling this month. We didn't. It's something new I haven't done in the past, but because of technical issues I've noticed in the past, I think it's going to save us several times that we can all do kind of these screencasts.
And do we want to? Are you wanting us to respond to people's videos, or just this is kind of just the introduction?
I think it's the introduction, and I will respond. And if you have some questions or anything like that about someone else's kind of introduction, feel free. But this is really just going to be kind of a way for everyone to become familiar with each other. So that if we don't have any questions on dates or times, the online portal, kind of our little class portal, and if the spreadsheet makes sense, I notice both of you seem to have. Have you used Google Hangouts in the past, or the Google Groups, or anything like that?
I have a little bit, yeah.
A little. So it's pretty self-explanatory. In the past, I've had people that have never used it. They had a little bit of trouble kind of signing up and getting on the Hangout and stuff, and that may be the problem with some of the others today. But if you run into issues, don't hesitate. I'll be more than willing to either help live or do a video kind of screencast. We'll play several games this semester. We'll it's one of those few classes where you're encouraged to go out and play games and research kind of games. So I hope you'll find it fun. I'm going to have a Minecraft guy. He uses it. He's an Oracle programmer, but he runs the Kansas City Computer Club, and he uses Minecraft a lot to keep the students engaged. And it's not just jump in and play. He has a lot of activities that they do. He's teaching computer science subjects through Minecraft, and so we'll have him, and that'll be, I think, a real eye-opening experience. It's odd because Minecraft is one of those games. I don't know if your kids are really into Minecraft or not.
Mine are. My daughter especially.
Yeah, isn't it amazing? Because you would think with all the technology they have today, mine have the Xbox One and the PSP4
right.
And just all these games, and the Minecraft environment is really kind of low quality in terms of the graphics and kind of what you can do. So it's kind of a weird, it's kind of a weird thing to me to see that kids could have these ultra realistic. And I was watching them play Far Cry today, and what was I watching? It reminded me of Far Cry. I don't think it was, but it kind of reminded me of that. And I was thinking it looked so real. And then I go in and he's watching a guy live stream Minecraft on his laptop as he's playing this game, and it's just seeing those two contrasts in terms of the quality of the game just was kind of stark. But the kids, for some reason, they gravitate to it.
Yes, it's hard to get them off it once they get really hooked into it.
I know.
I don't understand it, but
I don't either. I still don't quite understand the dynamics behind it. You'll notice, though, in the activities piece, I know Allison didn't act like. Had you have any experience with Minecraft, or have any of your students kind of mentioned it?
Yeah, a lot of the boys do. I haven't really heard many of the girls, but it was a thing among the boys, and those are first graders who are doing that. So, but I haven't had the experience with it yet, so I'm kind of excited to see what it is.
That's amazing that even first graders are kind of getting dragged into the whole Minecraft thing. You'll notice
my 5-year-old, I don't quite know if he knows how to navigate through it, but he loves watching his sister and brother play it and other people play it.
Isn't that amazing? That's my sons are really big into this thing called Twitch, which to me it reminds me of YouTube. That is for games. So you can, when you have an Xbox One, you can kind of live stream what you're doing out to Twitch, which is, and I can share that resource if you're interested. But it's weird because you got all these kids sitting around that aren't playing games, but watching other people play games that are being live streamed to this Twitch environment. So it's a really odd dynamic. I told my sons if I had all this technology when I was their age, I don't think I would have ever left my bedroom. I would have been playing the Xbox One, watching Twitch, and then, they just have so many resources to create things, even, like Scratch and so forth. But you'll notice in our activities, I want to give us all time to really kind of, I have the Minecraft link here, the Educate link, and then I have a link to the Minecraft.edu or the Minecraft edu Educate, kind of getting started with Minecraft edu. When I do these links, this one I want to make sure you don't run out and buy Minecraft. I have accounts for everybody as we get into that, but I want us to at least be familiar with it so that as we start to hear more about it through the class, we're familiar with it. So if we don't have questions, I'll kind of get out of you guys here and let you kind of start to digest maybe this week's activities and kind of gear up for, I'm trying to say I have the next one, the live session I said July 7th will be Minecraft, OpenSim, and Scratch. So those are kind of be the three things I'll be talking about live. I'll have some forum threads to kind of provide us with and some live, or not live, and some screencasts, some videos that I'll cut to kind of introduce us to the three concepts or the three ideas and games. Actually, two of them aren't games. One's an environment that we can create games in, and the other one is kind of more of a simulation. And then Minecraft we kind of covered briefly here.
So is the July 3rd discussion, is that our videos, or there'll be something else to discuss?
The discussion points are really more, I'm hoping that these online discussion dates, because there'll be more than just these on the dates, but what I'm hoping is that these dates are going to be discussions that are led more by you guys, so kind of as ways for you to flesh out your idea, your kind of formal two-page either lesson or piece to the class, kind of sharing your kind of concept, game, or idea. So that's really what those are more, and those are going to kind of be the ones that actually give us the points. So for grading purposes, those are going to, I guess, be kind of the ones that are used for the point piece. But there will be more things on the discussion forum than just the ones on those dates. I think it'll start to make sense a little bit more as we go. The forum will kind of grow in this organic way. These dates are going to kind of be more of the kind of the 3rd, 8th, 10th, on down to the 29th. Those dates are going to be more of kind of, I guess, the formal forum posts where we'll have your kind of reports, your not, I hate calling them reports, lessons or ideas, kind of game ideas. And the first one I have up here, it's a that I'll lead. It's the Moving Learning Games Forward, and that's one of our reading resources. But I'm going to flesh out a lot of points that are made in that piece. It's my favorite piece of the two. So if that, I hope, didn't muddy any waters. Did it clarify more than it confused?
No, we're good.
Okay. Well, I'll give you time to kind of digest, to start thinking about your little introduction piece. You'll see I've put the class introduction piece in there. You'll notice when I click on this introduction, I've got the class introduction piece in here. I'll give us all a chance to start to, oh, okay, nice, nice. I'll give us all a chance to see each other's and respond if you feel like it, and then I will post, like I mentioned earlier, this Jane McGonigal piece that is really interesting, and I think it's a great way to kind of kick everything off. Well, if we don't have any questions, I think I covered everything that I wanted to.
Okay.
Well, all right. If you do end up having questions, don't hesitate. I can do these live sessions anytime you want. I can do email. I can do a live stream. I can do I keep saying live screencast. I can do a screencast and share it out if there's a piece you want to get more familiar with.
Okay, so just to clarify, are we having another online meeting at 6:30 on the 3rd?
We will actually have the next online live meeting will be July 7th.
Okay. Okay, so then the online discussion, that's basically...
That will be through the forums.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I got it now. I'm like, I got confused at first between the online discussions and the live sessions, but...
Yeah, and I probably should use better kind of wording on these.
No, that's
honest,
okay. I'm glad you clarified.
The dates are really put there for, and you'll notice in the syllabus it says, well, at least 2 sentence things, and really that was more for kind of the point piece, so that when students came in, they knew exactly, here's how I earned 4 points, here's how I earned 15, here's how I earned 50. I'm hoping it's a little more organic than that. I'm really not a big test person. That was the first thing I didn't want to do, is tests and things like that. I wanted to kind of be this organic participatory thing. It just seemed weird to have a game class and immediately get into like these really standard ways of measuring progress. And you'll also see I kind of did a thing. It's a very low-level way to kind of do things, but in the forum, as people post and stuff, I have this badging system, and I'll talk more about that as we go. You'll notice that as you do conversations and do forum posts and so forth, you'll see, oh, I got a badge for this or that. So I kind of hope it makes it entertaining and gamified in a way. We'll talk a lot more about gamification as the course goes, but so do those dates and kind of what's expected make sense? All right. Well, I will let you guys drop off. I know Howada, am I pronouncing that right? I seen she just dropped in. Let me see. Is she muted? No. She may be sending me messages too. But if you guys don't have any more questions, I will kind of go through what we just did with Howada here, and I will check my email. She may be asking me how I connect.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll see you later.
Well, thanks. Take care.
All right, see ya.